I'm sorry, you have to ask me that again.
There is a map by a British guy, like they showed 600 plus possible runways in the northern and southern routes. So your Australian search focus on possible runways on possible islands or mainly on water?
Our search is focused on the best information we can derive about the likely movements of the aircraft without any regard to what was happening on board the aircraft or where there might be runways or land. This is about what the National Transportation Safety Board and the Australian Maritime Safety Authority thinks were the most likely movements of the aircraft.
You mentioned overcast conditions and up to 3 metre seas. How difficult does that make it for an aerial? Can you give us an idea of how difficult the outlook is?
Could I ask Group Captain Bellingham to speak to that?
So the aircraft that we have tasked to support this, the P3, there's a number of different sensors that are optimised in the surface surveillance task. Radar, infrared and electro-optical. So the P3 will be able to continue to operate, and the P8 Poseidon, which the US Navy are providing to the support, to continue to do the search. It will challenge if there's a visual search required to refine that, but the aircraft is suited to the search and it's highly optimised to conduct that.
What happens if you find some wreckage? Who goes and picks it up?
I'll leave that to Nimsa.
We need to decide that on the circumstances at the time. As I indicated earlier, while it's a fairly remote part of the world, there are ships that pass through that area on routes between South Africa and Australia and New Zealand. We will decide what can best be done at the time, depending on what is sighted and where it is.
How deep is the water in that area, and what's the sea floor like?
The water is very deep. I don't have a precise answer for you, but it's deep ocean.
Do you rely on satellite at all for this as well, or is it purely an aircraft thing? Is there any sort of satellite imagery that's helpful to you?
We are looking at what can be done in the way of satellite imagery. We would work through Geoscience Australia, which is the Australian authority that deals with these things, to see whether there is any imagery that is of value now that this search area has been established, or any other techniques that can be used beyond the use of search aircraft.
What's the operation cost?
Sorry, say
What is the operation cost?
At the moment, we're not focused on the cost at all. We just want to get the aircraft out there and do the search. That's something we'll look at as the search progresses.
What else would help you refine the search area? Can you give us some examples?
The very best assistance is always a distress beacon or something of the type, but that has not occurred in this case. We know that there were a number of distress beacons on board the aircraft, and we know that they have not been activated because we are the receiving authority for such alerts. Other than satellite imagery from the 8th of March, or satellite imagery since then that might pick up large pieces of debris, there's nothing comes to the front of my mind to add to this analysis.
Could we ask the group captain what the Orion will actually be looking for? What are you looking on the surface, or how far underwater can your equipment scan? And could you, for instance, pick up a black box or a
So
signal?
we're not looking underwater at all, and we don't have the capability to pick up black boxes or underwater electronic beacons. So it's purely a surface search to look for debris or objects in the water.
The end of the search zone there, is that the end of the fuel capacity of this maker aircraft? Is that where it would run out of fuel?
It is based on speed and endurance from the last known point of communication, yes.
Is there any land at all down there, or is it all
Antarctica to the south, and well to the west is La Reunion and the Heard and McDonald Islands, but they're a long way off sea.
You see, various commentators have described it today in preceding days as being like searching for a needle in a haystack. Is that a fair assessment?
That's pretty good. A needle in a haystack remains a good analogy.
Can I just clarify, I think you were asked before, how long will it take you to search that area? I mean, I assume it's a quadrant-based thing, so how long would it take the amount of aircraft you've got to cover that area?
Our current estimate is at least a few weeks to search the area thoroughly. We will of course be assessing progress every day. We will be moving the search area according to the movement of water and weather influences every day, and assessing when the aircraft actually get out there and see the real conditions and get experience with the search. We will modify our thinking, but at the moment it's a large area with aircraft that are towards the end of their operating limit, so they get a short period of time in the search area, and that dictates this is going to take quite a long time.
Is that area about 2,000 square kilometres or bigger?
About 600,000 square kilometres, I don't have an analogy for that. That might be as big as a state, I imagine.
Is there any plan to involve more resources from Australia or internationally?
As I briefed earlier, Australia, the United States and New Zealand are currently providing aircraft. We have been in discussion with China, China would like to be part of the search effort, and we're in discussion to see whether China could provide useful aircraft. And as we work cooperatively with our defence colleagues, we will seek other options that would optimise what we can do in the search.
Last question.
The fact that so many aircraft are being mustered in Perth, American aircraft, New Zealand aircraft, it seems to indicate that you're taking this very seriously. This is where one of the scenarios where the aircraft come out.
We are taking the search very seriously. I describe it as a possibility. The aircraft could have gone north or south, and if it went south, this is the Australian Maritime Safety Authority's best estimate of where we should look with the few resources we have at our disposal for such a search. And our purpose is firstly to find anyone alive if there is anyone to be found, and secondly we would like to either prove or discount the possibility that the aircraft came south. To do that would be a significant development with the search.
So you're obviously taking seriously the data that is coming apparently from the aircraft's engines automatically sent to satellites. That's where the data comes from.
Yes, we're taking that data very seriously. It is the only real indicator we have of what the movements of the aircraft might have been on the southern corridor. And so I would repeat that this search is not based on any theories about what might have happened on board the aircraft. It's based on our best estimates of where the aircraft went, and therefore where we should look. Thank you very much, everyone.
One last clarifying question.